It began quietly, not with fireworks or fanfare, but with a simple meeting, 2 names on a cast list, 2 stars chosen to lead a drama that would soon define an era. The Untamed, a story woven in fantasy, loyalty, and love, brought together Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. On paper, they were just co-stars. On screen, they were unforgettable. But off-screen, something else began to stir, something tender, something real. They met on a cool autumn morning, under the dull hum of studio lights and the quiet chatter of the production crew. At first, they were polite, 2 professionals exchanging greetings, carefully treading the line between courtesy and curiosity. But there was a stillness when their eyes met. A pause, as if the world leaned in for a closer look. Yibo was known for his quiet strength, for the way he carried characters with deep intensity. Xiao Zhan, with his soft voice and thoughtful demeanor, seemed like his perfect foil. Together, they became Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji, characters whose bond transcended the script. And as the story unfolded before cameras, something genuine began to bloom behind them. It wasn't the grand gestures that caught attention, it was the subtleties. The way Yibo would glance toward Xiao Zhan between takes. The way Zhan's smile lingered a second longer when Yibo was near. It was chemistry that couldn't be rehearsed. A natural rhythm that only the observant could see. One of the most talked about moments happened during a press conference. Reporters were firing questions, cameras flashing, but Wang Yibo only had eyes for one person. Xiao Zhan answered questions with his usual grace, but Yibo watched him with a look so gentle, so full of quiet awe, that a journalist whispered, "He looks like he's in his own world with Xiao Zhan." And maybe he was. That wasn't the gaze of a coworker. It was the kind of gaze that says, "I see the parts of him the world doesn't." Then came the storm. In early 2020, Xiao Zhan found himself at the center of a controversy. The media turned cold. Many distanced themselves. Silence filled the airwaves. But not Yibo. He didn't speak out. He didn't issue statements. Instead, he stayed, quietly, steadily, a presence in the background, unwavering. He kept following Zhan on social media when others unfollowed. In interviews, he'd mention someone, strong, and misunderstood, someone he believed in deeply. No names, but everyone knew. "He's strong," Yibo once said during a radio interview. "I trust him." He never had to say more. Xiao Zhan, in return, never hid his admiration for Yibo. "He doesn't speak much," he once shared during a fan meet. "But when he acts, you feel everything. He puts his whole heart into it." He called him a kind soul who pretends to be cold. And then came the small moments, the kind that mean everything. At an award show backstage, a grainy video surfaced. Xiao Zhan struggling to fix Yibo's stuck zipper, both of them laughing quietly. A fleeting moment, but fans clung to it like treasure. The zipper incident, they called it. Not because it was grand, but because it felt so real, so beautifully unscripted. Even years after the Untamed, they rarely appeared in public together. But fans noticed the clues. Matching bracelets, identical sneakers, similar rings worn at different events. Coincidence? Perhaps once, but not again and again. Fans began calling it coded affection. A silent language written in accessories and subtle looks. On a variety show, Xiao Zhan made a surprise appearance. Yibo, normally unreadable, lit up. A glow, unmistakable. One fan tweeted, "He didn't smile. He radiated, like the sun had walked into the room." In an interview last year, Zhan was asked who made him feel most at peace. He paused, thought deeply, then said, softly, "There's someone. He doesn't say much, But his presence, it calms me. No one asked who. They already knew. And Yibo, when asked what made him learn to open up more, he answered with a half-smile, sometimes, you meet someone who changes you, without ever asking you to change. No declarations. No dramatic reveals. Just two people, quietly orbiting one another in a world too loud for fragile truths. Their fans never needed confessions. They saw it in the way Yibo's hand would hover near Zhan's, never touching, but never straying far. They heard it in the echoes of laughter caught off camera. They felt it in the synchronized steps, the mirrored glances, the inexplicable way their energies danced in the same rhythm. Critics called it speculation. The fandom called it connection. Because not all love stories need a spotlight. Some unfold in shadows, in silence, in glances that last just a heartbeat longer than they should. Some are built not with words, but with unwavering presence. With loyalty in the darkest hours. With eyes that say, I'm here, even when the world turns away. And maybe that's the real magic. Not the fame, not the fame-driven ships or tabloid headlines. But the genuine, steady bond of two souls who understood each other beyond the noise. Who showed that affection doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it just stays. Quiet, unmoving, certain. Years have passed since the Untamed aired, yet their connection still lingers, like a song that refuses to fade. Fan communities grow, not because they hope for a romance, but because they witnessed something real. Something that touched them. A bond that felt like home. Because Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan reminded us that love doesn't always look like a movie. Sometimes it's found in zipped jackets, in side glances, in silent support when the world walks away. And maybe that's the most profound kind of love, the one that doesn't demand to be seen, but is felt in every quiet gesture. In a world that celebrates noise, they taught us the power of stillness. That true connection is built on respect. That affection can bloom in silence. And that sometimes, the most intimate kind of love is the one that doesn't need to be said out loud. Just felt.